What's up, everyone? Welcome to Lowered Expectations. Thanks for lowering your expectations and hanging out with me here. I do appreciate it. In today's video, I am going to be simulating what would happen if the heater broke in my house and the only thing I had to keep myself warm with was a 5 kilowatt diesel heater. This is the perfect day to try this test because it is minus 18 degrees Celsius outside, and yeah, it's going to be pretty challenging. My house is not going to be exactly the same as yours, so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my house so you can compare it to yours and see if this is at all relevant. My house is a 1970s construction, 2-story, 2x4 walls. It is 36 by 26 feet. And as you guys will see in some upcoming clips, the windows are pretty poorly insulated. In the near future, I plan on releasing a couple of rant videos that will have absolutely no testing in them, and there are two subjects that I am going to touch on in particular. One thing is pretty important, and that is the fact that all companies are lying about 8 kilowatt heaters. The companies themselves probably aren't lying. It's probably the manufacturers, and the companies actually don't know any better. But the bottom line is that there is no such thing as an 8 kilowatt heater. And I know I'm going to get attacked just for saying that, but there's no such thing as an 8 kilowatt heater, and I'm going to be releasing a video ranting about that whole thing. I'm also going to be addressing the no fuel pump video that I made where I was debunking the need for rigid fuel line because of fuel pressure. A whole bunch of people focused on the fact that I used the word pressure and totally missed the point on that video. So I am going to make a video that goes into quite some detail about, well, pressure and why it doesn't matter. If you have no sense of adventure whatsoever and you are only interested in the results of this test, then feel free to skip to the end of the video where I will talk about all of the details. But you might want to stick around throughout the video because I did run into some problems along the way and had to come up with some creative solutions. So you might actually want to stick around and learn a few things. I am fairly oblivious to some things changing, but the temperature has dropped to 15 degrees Celsius in here, which is pretty chilly. And even if I was busy doing something else, I would definitely notice that something was wrong. So I am going to now jump into action. Oh no, my heater is broken, and turn on the diesel heater and see if we can maintain some sort of temperature. We'll see how far it drops. I don't expect it to stop dropping at 15 degrees Celsius. It is minus 18 outside, may I remind you. So we're gonna turn on the diesel heater and we're gonna monitor the temperature and see what it goes to. To show you guys what minus 18 degrees Celsius looks like from inside of my house, we have these old double pane sliding windows. I don't know if oh yeah, it'll slide open. They're not terribly well insulated, and as you can see, there is quite a bit of ice forming on the inside of the outer layer. This is the inside of my bedroom window, and as you can see, it is also completely frozen on the outside pane. I forgot to tell you guys, but I actually got woken up this morning by the doorbell ringing. Megan had left for work and then realized she forgot something. And when she put her key back in the door to get back inside, it actually got frozen into the door. So probably some of the humidity is escaping from the house, and when it goes through the door lock mechanism, it is actually freezing on the outside because it's minus 18 outside. Quasar and I are about to head outside and fire up the diesel heater. I also need to do some shoveling. As you guys will see, we got a bit of snow last night, so it'll be interesting to see how well the heater fires up. If I wasn't doing this for a video, I would just turn the fob on and let things go, but I am making a video. Let's see what Quasar thinks of this cold. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's see what he thinks. Oh, he's going for it. What do you think, buddy? You going out there? Oh boy, that's kind of cold, eh? Yeah, you decided to go back in the house. I don't blame you. we are pretty low on fuel, so I'm definitely going to have to take care of that. Let's see, how much fuel is there? Well, there's enough to fire it up. I'm going to turn it on with the fob. We'll watch it, see what it does here, and then I'll get some fuel. Alright, I heard it click. Sounds like maybe our battery charger's having a problem. I hear ignition though. Yes, I know I should free up the exhaust, but I'm not. 11 volts, 10 volts, 11. Fluid temperature is reading 0. It's much colder than that. All right, it started. Exchanger temperature is up to 150 Celsius, 152, so we have successfully fired up. It will stay running now. Oh, I'm gonna go inside and open the window. Damn it. Crisis averted. I was in the middle of filling it up and realized that I hadn't opened the inner window. So the heat was just pumping behind the window. The temperature of the heater was up to 216. This heater overheats and shuts down at 236. Quasar came outside with me, but he's not going to stay outside. Back in the house, buddy? Yeah, it makes you sneeze. Poor guy, can't even breathe the air, he's sneezing. I was just about to check the temperature in the house, which is now 14.5 degrees Celsius, so it dropped another half a degree in here. And I realized that I actually turned the heat down to setting 4. When I was panicked earlier, I was fueling up the heater and realized that the window was closed on the inside of the house and the body of the heat exchanger was up to 216 Celsius. So I panicked and hit the down button a couple of times and turned the heater down a little bit so it wouldn't overheat. Body temperature of the heater, 188 Celsius. Battery is at 13 volts, so that's good. We are at setting 4, so we are definitely going all the way to setting 6. I wish this had setting 11. I'm just realizing that some of you may have not seen my setup. If this is the first video of mine that you're ever seeing, then obviously you don't know about this. I wouldn't recommend that you do yours the same way, but this works in an emergency situation. I have these sliding windows where the inner and outer panes slide to the side. And what I've done is taken a piece of drywall, it's 1/2-inch drywall, and it actually fits into the slot where the window slides back and forth. Quasar's trying to get up into the ceiling joists. So the piece of drywall slides into the track where the window slides back and forth. You slide it over, slide the window against it, and then I simply have some duct tape kind of sealing around the outside of the window. I have a piece of cardboard here as a deflector so that the hot air can get pushed through without the cool air inlet sucking it back that way. It is now 12:04 p.m., just past noon, and about an hour since I've noticed that the heat went out. The heat actually went out at 7:30 a.m., so it had dropped to, what was it, 15 degrees Celsius. It is now, oh, the temperature went up 0.5. When I started recording this clip, I looked at the thermostat, and it was it had gone down to 14 Celsius, and the temperature has now gone up to 14.5. There's no way that heater's going to be able to keep my house at 14.5. That's nonsense. Anyway, maybe it's just because of the airflow or something. There's no way that little heater is going to be able to keep the house at 14.5. Anyway, I need to go outside and switch around my battery chargers because the battery for the heater that is keeping the house warm is a lithium-ion battery, and it has a lead-acid battery charger on it. Before I go and switch out the battery chargers, I thought I would mention something before I forget it, and that is that if you were doing this in a real-life situation, if your heater was actually broken or the power was out, and you're trying to keep your stuff warm, if you're trying to keep yourself warm and stop your pipes from freezing, what you're going to want to do is close off any area that isn't 100% necessary to heat. There's just a bunch of spaces that I technically could close off, and I'm not going to. I want to see what this heater can actually do, so I'm leaving all of the space open in my house. I am also going to be traveling in and out to check on the heater. I'm doing a test on my truck as well as the test for the house. So I'm going to be traveling in and out of the house, and every time I open that door, hot air is going to escape. So keep your doors and windows closed in this situation. Don't go in and out if you don't absolutely have to. But this is going to be kind of worst case scenario with this size of a house. We're an hour into the test, and I accidentally pushed the button on the fob and turned the heater off. Idiot. Okay, the good news is that because the heater is outside in -18, it'll cool off pretty quickly. The bad news is that the few minutes that it takes for the heater to cool down, it's also getting cooler in the house, and I need to go outside and do some stuff. So I don't expect you guys to be able to see this, but with all that messing around, the temperature has dropped to 14 degrees Celsius. The heater is now restarting, but I'm gonna have to run back outside and switch the charges around. Okay, something's not right. The heater's not turning on. I can hear the fuel pump cycling. So I'm gonna have to go check on it real quick. Not an ideal situation, folks. Fraser thinks he wants to be outside. Okay, I smell fuel. I know for some of you this is probably the first video of mine that you're ever seeing, and the concept of a diesel heated wheelbarrow is probably a bit strange to you. I promise that if you saw how this thing was actually used, it would be even more strange. If you're interested in picking up your own diesel heater, whether that be for heating a greenhouse, a wheelbarrow, a room of your house, or perhaps even a vehicle, there will be an affiliate link in the description below as well as a discount code. Reminder, there are no 8 kilowatt diesel heaters. In the middle of recording my last clip, I could hear my neighbor shoveling the walkway outside of my garage. And I wasn't gonna have that. He's an older gentleman. And I shoveled his walkway this morning. And so I guess he thought as a favor he would shovel in front of my garage. Anyway, I'm not gonna have that minus 18. Oh. Okay, so I figured out what the problem was with the heater. First of all, I did hit a button and shut it down. But the reason why I wouldn't restart is because it's a lithium-ion battery and it was running with the lead acid charger. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened on restart. It just didn't have enough oomph for the fan and the glow plug. It is 1 minute to 2 p.m. and I was just about to update you guys. I took a look at my controller and the battery voltage is down to 10 volts, so I am going to have to do something. The temperature has dropped to 13.5 degrees Celsius, so I'm guessing that the heater is doing something, because in the first 3 hours after the heater was shut off, the temperature dropped from 19 all the way to 15. And in the last 3 hours, the heat has dropped from 15 to 13.5. And I've been running in and out of the house. It is only a short while later and the voltage just dropped to 8 volts, so I need to do something. And oh, it went to 9. Oh, because the heater shut off. This is the RV battery. It is showing good, I believe. Oh, I did just smash that wire, so that's awesome. During that whole run around trying to get the heater sorted out, the temperature dropped another degree. It is now 12.5 degrees Celsius in here. Hopefully, now that the heater is up and running, it will bring the temperature back up a little. I'm kind of guessing that it will just stabilize, but the heater is just reaching temperature now. I'm gonna go warm my hands up on it. I should mention that Megan isn't going to be particularly thrilled about running a test that involves her being cold. So I am going to have to turn the heat up either when or before she gets home. Ideally, I would have the house warm when she gets home, but I'm going to try to push this test as far as I can. So, yeah. Hopefully we collect enough data by that point. If not, I might have to run it again tomorrow. I've got this other device, air quality meter, and we can check the air quality, I guess, but what I'm going to use this for, it has a thermometer on it. So it's currently saying 11 degrees Celsius. This was sitting on my bed in a box. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here. Maybe that's not a great idea. I'm going to put that right there. So what I'm going to do is leave that there for 10 minutes, and then we're going to check to see how close these two are to each other. And then what I'm going to do is actually place this at different places throughout my house, because what I'm noticing in this area, I think it's actually considerably warmer. So the basement stairs are right here behind this love seat, and the heat is coming up here. So I think most of the heat is lofting into this room, which has this massive window. The window is 8 feet by, this is ridiculous, 54 inches. And the temperature on the floor, right here by Quasar's dishes, is a high of 7 degrees Celsius, but I also saw 4 degrees at one point. The temperature on this meter has stabilized at 13 degrees Celsius. I'm now going to set it in the living room on Quasar's cat tree. We'll set it up here. And I am going to set a timer for, I guess, 10 minutes. Up on Quasar's cat tree, it is 14 degrees Celsius with a humidity level of 30. It is 13 degrees Celsius according to this in my bedroom, so now I'm going to place it in the kitchen. We're going to let it sit for 10 minutes, and then, do we have time? What time is it? If we have time, then I'll put it down in the basement, somewhere closer to the heater. I just noticed the temperature dropped another ½ degree here and the sun is starting to set, so I got wondering if the temperature was going up or it was going down or what was happening. So I just checked. It is 4:40 p.m. and it is currently minus 21 degrees Celsius. So it has gone down a few degrees and the heater is, yeah, it's not plummeting. You guys saw quite clearly when the heater went off, when I had the battery trouble, the temperature rather, dropped pretty quickly. It went from, what was it, 14? Yeah, I think it went from 14 to 12.5 pretty quickly. So again, obviously, if I was actually trying to stay warm and wasn't just doing this ridiculous test, Quasar, stop hitting my camera. Quasar's wondering what's going on today. But yeah. If I were not doing this for a video, I would probably block off the area around the heater and bring my computer in there so that I could, you know, heat up that area more. The heat that was escaping from that area would probably stop the rest of the house from completely freezing, but I would be very warm in my little tarped off area. The temperature in the kitchen is at least 1 degree cooler than the temperature in my bedroom and the temperature on Quasar's cat tree. I don't have a whole lot of time left because Megan will be home soon and I need to make sure that the house is warm when she gets here. So this is currently reading 12 degrees. The heater is over there behind me and the heat is coming through here, but because heat rises, it's going, yeah, up along here. So what I'm going to do, I've got this bench here with a bunch of screws and fasteners on it. I'm going to set the thermometer on top of that bench and we'll wait for 10 minutes and see what the temperature is. This is good news, folks. This is what I was hoping for, some sort of result. I think this might not be 100% definitive, but the temperature has gone up ½ degree. The fact that the temperature went up ½ degree means that it's no longer plummeting out of control, even though the outside temperature is dropping. So, once again, I will take a screenshot. Minus 21 degrees Celsius outside, and we are at 12.5 degrees Celsius up here. So it has gone up ½ degree Celsius, even though the temperature is dropping outside. So I just got down the basement and it is 15 degrees Celsius. Not sure if you guys will be able to see that, but 15 degrees Celsius. Let's turn the heat back on and put an end to this test. I will be happy to be warm. I turned the diesel heater on at 11 a.m. so it has been running for 6 hours. Let's go take a look at the fuel tank and see if we can see how much fuel we've consumed. It should be interesting. As you guys can see, we've melted away a considerable amount of snow here. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Can we get down in here without tipping a bunch of stuff over? Alright, looks like we've burnt a little less than 2 liters of fuel. Oh man, it's cold. Minus 21 is cold. Let's knock this in. Alright folks, the diesel heater is still running. As you guys can see, it's now dark. Not sure how much fuel is left in there. Not a whole lot, probably about a liter. So I'm gonna go to the gas station and get some more fuel. You can see our snow pile is quite melted away here. We're gonna melt all the snow in my yard. Won't have any snow. If you've skipped all the way to the end of the video, then you deserve no congratulations for making it here. But for those of you who watched the whole video, congratulations, you've made it almost all the way to the end. Now we are going to talk about some of the things that I learned, some of the things that I did wrong, and some of the things that I would do differently. Okay, what I would do differently. I would have a large battery. I would make sure that I had a large battery, that it was charged up beforehand. And then the other thing that I would do is make sure that the battery was actually kept in a warm place. That was pretty stupid of me. I should have known better, but it caught me off guard. And if this would have been a real test, well, I would have been colder than necessary. As you guys saw who watched the video, my batteries had quite a bit of trouble. They actually had more trouble than I showed in this video, but to try to keep it somewhat of a reasonable length, I didn't put all of the footage of the battery trouble that I had. Another thing that I would strongly suggest that I'm not going to do myself because I'm a complete hack, and quite honestly, I use this heater for a lot of experiments, and so it's not terribly practical for me. That thing is building a proper enclosure for the heater to protect it from the elements. My heater has been able to withstand all of the punishment that I've thrown at it, whether it's this test or the year of punishment that it's taken leading up to this, but I would still recommend that you have some sort of enclosure to protect it from the weather, especially the wiring, and yeah, it's just a good idea. It's also going to make the heater more efficient because it's going to keep more of that heat inside. You are going to want to make sure that you vent the exhaust properly, and you're also giving room for air to get sucked in. And you're also going to want to make sure that you don't burn anything down. The exhaust does get quite hot. One more thing that I learned along the way, and that is not to put the key fob in your pocket, because if you turn it off, the heater has to cool all the way off before it turns back on again. And if you're already struggling to keep your house warm, that is really gonna suck. Another thing, I would recommend having a bigger fuel tank and keeping some extra fuel on hand. I only burnt through about 2 liters in the 6 hours that I had this thing running, and that stands up to the scrutiny of the other tests that I've done. It burns about 4.16 liters in 12 hours. Every 5 kilowatt heater is not going to be exactly the same. I know that some of you are going to argue with me in the comment section about this, but believe me, they are not the same. So you can expect to burn around 8 liters of fuel in a 24-hour period, a little under 2 gallons. The number one thing that I would absolutely recommend doing differently is under no circumstances, no matter what happens or who convinces you that it's a good idea, do not make a YouTube video while this is happening. For one, you're going to have to run in and out to actually film things. That's going to let a lot of hot air out of your house. And it's going to mean that you're putting this up on the internet. Everybody's going to see how much of an idiot you are. They're going to scrutinize everything that you did. And you're just going to have to take it, because when you watch the footage back, you're going to realize, yeah, some of that stuff was pretty dumb. If you guys are interested in picking up your own heater that isn't an 8 kilowatt, there is an affiliate link as well as a discount code in the description below. That is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.